New bill just signed into law could make building new housing a lot cheaper and faster, but some environmental groups are pushing back. The California Environmental Quality Act was first introduced in 1970 to protect sensitive environmental areas from excessive development. But more recently, it's been used to slow down or even block some development projects. Katie Nielsen has one surprising reason why that has nothing to do with threatened habitats.
This empty lot was supposed to be an apartment complex with 222 units. It's right across the street from the West Oakland BART station, but because of a CEQA lawsuit, it never even got started.
Transit-oriented urban infill area, as you can see, there won't be environmental impacts from the development.
Robert Selna is an attorney who's represented developers trying to build new housing, much like the project that was supposed to go here at the empty field across the street from the West Oakland BART station.
If you have abandoned spaces, they're going to be filled with something. Is it better for them to be filled with houses, or is it better to be filled with garbage?
Robert said he's familiar with the project and the developers, and everything was moving ahead, but then faced a 1.5-year-long delay when they were hit with a CEQA lawsuit, not filed by environmental groups, but instead labor unions. And according to a letter sent to the Planning Commission, it was specifically Plumbers and Pipefitters Local 342, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 595, Sheet Metal Workers Local 104, and Sprinkler Fitters Local 483.
Developer, we want you to meet our labor standard demands. If you don't, there's an opportunity for us to object to your project, oppose your project, appeal your project based on CEQA.
Robert says with the projects using existing sites in the middle of the city, the real issue isn't environmental concerns. He says it's usually that labor unions want the developers to use union labor during the construction process. He says on average, it can drive up the cost by about $50,000 per unit.
The vast majority of lawsuits that have resulted from opposition to projects based on CEQA have been urban infill housing projects.
CEQA is one tool that project opponents have used to stop or slow down housing and other forms of development.
Chris Elmendorf is a professor at UC Davis and an expert in the laws surrounding development. He says, according to a study from the California Center for Jobs and the Economy, CEQA lawsuits were filed in almost half of the housing going into production in 2020.
It's not right that any one random person or group should have the right to put any project they don't like on hold for a year or 2 or 3 years simply by filing a lawsuit.
Robert says the changes to the law make sense and was also long overdue.
There really aren't environmental impacts because in a place like Oakland, because they've already been studied. It's already a built environment. There aren't special status species or agricultural lands or protected environments.
We reached out to all of the labor unions involved in the lawsuit here at the West Oakland site, but none of them responded to our request for comment.
Republicans in Sacramento are blasting Newsom for only now trying to make it easier to build. Meantime, a Sierra Club spokesperson says these half-baked bills written behind closed doors will have destructive consequences for environmental justice communities and endangered species across California.